Good morning. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to New Jersey Family Church's Cheon Prayer Vigil. And to start, we'd like to offer greetings to our Heavenly Parent and true parents. 천징 참부님께 견매 바로. And I'd like to read Family Pledge number 1, first in Korean, then in English. 1. 가정맹세 1. 천율국 중인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향당을 찾아 본연의 창조 이사인 지산천국과 천산천국을 장공할 것을 맹세하나이다. 1. Our family, the owner of Cheon, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original ideal of creation by centering on true love. Now, to open us up in prayer, I'd like to invite up Mrs. Mie Lepalkin. Mie-san, if you can please unmute and offer the opening prayer, please.
Hello, good morning, brothers and sisters. Let us pray. Beloved Heavenly Parents, thank you so much for giving us this new day. We are gathering here sincerely. Want to offer our loving heart to you and to true parents and to toward one another. We are living this most glorious and very significant time. Our true parents open up the spirit world to the earth, and with this Cheon also special grace to us. We can connect directly to heaven, spirit world, connect to true fathers, and connect to our good ancestors, even bad ancestors, to help us. We can grow, and we can to feel your presence every moment. Such a beautiful fusion culture. Our mother given to us and explained to us, reading the True Mother's memoir each morning. We learn so much how true fathers, the true mothers, all our brothers and sisters, how beautiful their dedication and their determination to make fast in the morning. We are so grateful. Thank you so much for giving us these new days and these new opportunities. I sincerely offer this humble prayers. My name, Remy Ripokan, Jungle Central Families, Jew.
Jew. Thank you, Mrs. Lepalkin, for your opening prayer. And brothers and sisters, now I'd like to take a few moments to get our blood flowing throughout our body with some light stretches. So I always like to start just by reaching up to the sky and just try to stretch out our arms and our sides as much as possible. Oh, I feel that stretching maybe in the back too. And now we can lean slowly towards our right to stretch out our left side. And we can hold this for about 3, 2, 1. And then we can switch over to our left side to stretch our right. 3, 2, and 1. And now we can interlock our fingers, put a little tension by pulling on them, and bring it out to your front and curl your back. And then you should be able to feel a stretch in your back as you try to pull your fingers apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then now just inverse your fingers and have your palms stretched out. And we can feel that stretch in our forearms. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so today we're gonna just kind of massage our heads. But if you don't want to mess up your hair, then you can just lightly tap your head instead. But you can just grab any part of your head and just give it a light massage. Appreciate your skull for keeping your brain safe, being like the main control tower of your body. And just really give a nice massage or tap if you wish to. Thank you so much to our brains, our skull. Okay, and then next we could just move down to our ear and just give it a light massage. Some people even like to pull on them and just feel that stretch on our ears. And of course, we want to prepare ourselves to listen to True Mother's words this morning. So thank you, ears, for really being that support and being the channel for us to receive everything from this moment or throughout our life. All right, so I think now I'm just going to count down from 10 seconds and leave it up to you, everyone, and where you want to stretch. So yeah, feel free to go crazy and just appreciate your body. So I'll start the countdown. Starting 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. All right. Thank you guys so much. And thank our bodies for really supporting us and giving us this incredible experience to live here on this physical earth. And so I'd like to ask everyone now let's go into our breakouts so that we can share any gratitude points either from this morning or just even yesterday and be able to really uplift the spirit all together. So let us go into our breakouts. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a wonderful time sharing your gratitude and with each other. And to share first, I'd like to invite up the Kylie couple. Um, Kylie couple, if you are able to unmute at this time, and please share.
All right. Well, thank you, Yas. It's so nice to have you back. We have a number of nice experiences together. Eliminate that. There we go. I was sharing that we have been outreaching to the local Catholic Church, doing it as carefully as we can because it's a vertical organization. And, it's possible that some bishop would say, hey, you've got some Moonies in your midst, be careful. But our prayer is that we'll fill that church with blessings. And so we're trying to contribute in various ways. We're involved in the activities of the church, and I'm a board member of the local Catholic school. It's connected to the church. And I'm grateful for this very special opportunity that heaven has presented us. We live, 100 feet from the school. So we're able to be there for their events and from not that much further from the church. So that's, it's an exciting opportunity. It's a challenge, but because as a movement, we really haven't broken through very much with the Catholic Church for a good reason. It's a challenging institution, but we're working on it. Our prayer is that we can make a dent there. And I'm grateful for fall. It's just filling us with, we had beautiful colors here, red, pink, yellow, orange in the trees. And now those leaves are falling and the air is crisp. And we have gourds and corn and all kinds of nice things that we're just, the symbols of fall are so pleasing. I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
And
No, go ahead, Mrs. Kylie.
well, I'm grateful also to be able, in a way, we are really welcomed in the Catholic Church. And, we give input, like the Bible study, we give input, from a principled point of view from time to time. And so it really broadens a little bit their understanding of scriptures. And I'm very grateful for it. And we are really welcomed, and we really try to serve and give input from a principled point of view, as much as it is possible. But I'm very grateful to be able to attend morning service in Clifton every morning and see brothers and sisters' faces and be able to talk to each other. So I'm very grateful for this.
Via Zoom.
By Zoom, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's my give and take.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Kylie and Mrs. Kylie, for your sharing. I love your intention of joining this Catholic Church is to be the blessing for this church. I know that God can definitely work with that kind of motivation, intention, and you'll bring so much blessing, not just a marriage blessing, but a lot of prosperity to that through God can bring it through you guys. So thank you for sharing that. And Mrs. Kylie, yeah, thank you so much for sharing such a motherly heart of just so nice to see all the brothers and sisters smile and on Zoom. And we are so happy and grateful that you can be on here and share with us too. Thank you. And to share next, I know we've been hearing her every day for the past 8 days, but I was lucky enough to have her in my breakout. So I'd like to invite up Reverend Carol Povans to share her gratitude point.
Still getting away from this spot. My first gratitude was that my 8 days was over. So I didn't even have to do my hair or anything this morning. I just came like anyway, here I am. I really enjoyed listening to Michael and Maria this morning. Last night, I received kind of in the same vein. last night I received a paper that was written by a brother from the church, and he asked for my opinion on it, and I started reading through it. It talks about kind of a critique and counter proposal for secularism in the public schools, and I just am so grateful for all the efforts that brothers and sisters are making with their particular talent, really trying to develop ways to affect society through their writings or through through their thought, through their activities and stuff like that. So I just have to express a gratitude for that brother's effort. I don't want to say too much more about it because it's not my paper to share. Anyway, thank you so much. It's nice to see everybody this morning.
Thank you, Reverend Pobans, for sharing. And yeah, really appreciating everyone's efforts of tackling all kinds of issues in this world. And with that, brothers and sisters, thank you for taking this time to share your gratitude with one another. And as we prepare our hearts and our minds to receive True Mother's words, I'd just like to introduce that the person who's going to be reading Mother's words and sharing their reflection is none other than our brother, Mr. Stephen Boyd. So I'd like to welcome up Mr. Boyd to come up and, yes, read Mother's words and share his reflection at this time.
Thank you, Yasu. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Just want to say thank you for inviting me to share together with brothers and sisters. And I guess my first reflection before we read is, how can we speak of our true parents? How can we speak of our true mother? What authority do we have? True parents are so big, but I guess I would start simply by saying that we are our true mother's children, and we can talk about her from that position, that we are her sons and daughters. And as a child speaks about their mother, that's what we can do today and in our studies. That's how I go about it. So let's begin our reading. We then changed into bright Korean traditional wedding outfits, and my husband and I sang and danced to return glory to God, enjoying a merry time together with the members. When the members called for the bride to sing, I sang a song called When the Spring Comes. When the spring comes, azaleas bloom in the mountains and meadows. Where the azaleas bloom, so does my heart. Spring signifies freshness and newness. I love spring, and that is the season of hope. Spring brings with it the expectation that as we leave the cold winter behind, our days will be vibrant with life. It awakens our dreams. As I sang, I was thinking that the history of the Unification Church should begin anew with this coming of spring. The appearance of the family of the true parents on earth that day flung open a new door in the history of God's dispensation. The day of the holy wedding ceremony, conducted after we had lived through perilous years, was the day of God's greatest delight. So, number of points that I'd like to bring out. First, mother's love for azaleas. At Cheon, there's azaleas everywhere, and they continue to be planted in ever-growing numbers. Mother said that the azalea was a sign of spring, and I didn't know until reading today, or it didn't impact me as much, that actually Mother has thought that not just to beautify the grounds of our holy place in Korea, but also from a very early age, maybe even within Korean culture, azaleas signify the coming of spring. So this passage talks about a new age. It talks about the coming of spring from a providential level, with the holy wedding of our true parents and the completion of what the Bible referred to as the marriage supper of the Lamb. As Carol in her portion was reading a couple of days ago, this took place kind of in darkness and even under persecution. And even though there were several hundred people attending, really the whole world should have celebrated at the same time the magnificent blessing and wedding of our true parents. The whole world should have known. But even in that moment, I'm struck by the way Mother, as the true daughter, as the true daughter of Heavenly Parent, knowing who she is, takes on that responsibility with firmness and conviction and a desire to complete God's will. Truly, they were living in very humble circumstances, but Mother doesn't really talk too much about that in this passage, at least. She's talking more about the magnificent event that took place that the whole human history has been waiting for, the marriage of the true parents. So with the marriage of the true parents, she says, we've gone through the perilous years. We lived through the perilous years. And truly, of course, Mother was speaking about the Japanese occupation of Korea in her youth. She was speaking about the tragedy of the Korean War and the death of so many people in that conflict, living with very little food or clothing or a place to live. Of course, she was referring to those hardships that any refugee would feel. And truly, true Mother's family were refugees. They were trusting in God. So she's speaking about that kind of peril. But also, I think Mother is also more deeply referring to the perilous years on a more internal level of how difficult it was for true Father to find her, all the things that had to happen before they could come together and join together as true parents. And the course that Mother's grandmother and her mother and she went through, following God's guidance and voice. Mother says that with the coming of spring, we have vibrant new life. And so for true parents, and I think really from Mother's vision and for all of us, the marriage supper of the Lamb was the beginning of a new age in history. So I always like to look back a little bit further from a bigger picture to see providentially where we are in history's timeline. And all of history led to that moment. And with the marriage of our true parents, a new history was born. So that really is the time of the last days when all things end. So it's the end of human history as we knew it. And Mother promises with her commitment to true Father, to end indemnity, to end religious conflict. Really, Mother is the mother of us children, brothers and sisters who are in conflict. So this morning, when I think about what Mother's done at that very early age, she's only 16, 17 years old. I don't know about you, but I often will go to the Bible for guidance and for comfort and for wisdom. And as I was thinking about this passage this morning and looking from Mother's point of view as a young girl, beginning this incredible mission, the passage from 1 John 3:18 came to me. And in this passage in the letter of John, he says, "Little children, let us love, not in word or speech, but in truth and action." Mother really is the example, as is true Father. Mother is the example of love in action, of love in truth. And so I'm so grateful that we have this opportunity every morning to read Mother's words and meditate upon them in this way, not rushing through as we would read a novel or someone else's historical biography, but as an attempt and an effort on our side, an act of faith and devotion to reflect upon what Mother so thoughtfully and carefully put into her memoir, to discern the meaning behind each word. It's so meaningful. Mother says so much indirectly. And so what I like to do when I prepare for the reading is to pray and to ask Mother Spirit to come, to invite Mother Spirit into my heart and into my mind, that I may see from her point of view as she was writing these things. And in doing so, understand more deeply who true mother is, who my mother is, and how she looks at me and looks at all of us as a mother. So she looks at us uh, and she sees a new history. She sees that through the true parents, each of us will be participants in the building of that new ideal. So those are my thoughts this morning, Yasu. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share together this morning. I look forward to the next 7 days. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boyd, for really pulling out a lot of insights from just 3 paragraphs. Everyone gets just 3 paragraphs, but every day there's such incredible inspiration. And brothers and sisters, now I'd like to take this moment to invite everyone back into breakout rooms so that you can also share your insights and inspirations from what Mr. Boyd shared or through Mother's words directly. And so if you're prompted to join, please click join and let us go into our breakouts to share. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a wonderful time sharing your insights and takeaways with one another. And yeah, I had the pleasure of being in the same room with Mr. Boyd and the Lepalkin couple, and we were just getting into hearing such an incredible testimony, a story. But I do want to give this time to really highlight some of our brothers and sisters and their incredible testimonies or stories as well with associating with the movement. And so to the first person to be able to share their testimony I'd like to invite up Dr. Thomas Ward. So Dr. Ward, if you can please unmute and share.
Thank you very much, Yasu. And it's good to see everyone this morning. I just had a nice meeting with Mr. Saito, who was part of the 50th anniversary of the Japanese missionaries. We had a beautiful event with them, and also with the Lalonde family, who we all have so much admiration and respect for, and their faith as a family is marvelous. And in the first session this morning, I met with Pastor Barbara, Chris Bush, and Ursula Hanlon. Myself and my wife met with them. And Chris made a point which I think ties in nicely to what I want to talk about this morning. He talked about his experience as a performer. You know, you invest hours and hours and hours of Jungsong into that moment when you stand before an audience and you sing or you play whatever instrument that you've been trained so many years to play. And so trying to think about what I should share this morning, I decided that I would like to share 3 vignettes that are 3 little pieces from my life about ways in which I came to understand how God was working in my life. So, and to get me here. And I really encourage all of you to think about, to do the same. This idea came from Pastor Takino, because he said, can you please show a picture of yourself when you were young? Yes, I was young one day, believe it or not. And so I decided, okay, then it got me going down a certain path. So anyways, I'm going to share my screen and a few slides, and I hope this is meaningful to all of you. So yeah, my talk is called Remembering that God is with me and God is with you. So this is a picture of me. That's the skinny guy in there in the middle who had hair back then. That was me way back. And interesting, Yoshiko Martinez, who's on this call every day, she's there as well. This is back, I think, 1973, this photo. And those of you who know Kyoko Bowman, also she's here in this picture as well. Anyways, in my early days in the church, I joined the church in 1971. I was kidnapped 2 times. I was kidnapped the first time in 1975, and I was kidnapped the second time in 1978. And that second kidnapping was, you know, it was kind of long. It went for 33 days, and just by a miracle of God, I was able to get through it, because I had read Richard Wurmbrand's Tortured for Christ, and he talked about, he was a Christian missionary in communist Romania, and he realized that those who tortured him were determined not to have the least bit of Jesus in his heart. And he said, therefore, I determined not to have the least bit of Satan in my heart. So somehow I'd read that before, and it just kept me strong all the way through to somehow love and never resent or hate the people that, you know, that put me through that ordeal. And then December 28th, 1978, I managed finally to escape. It's a long story. That used to be the Hilton Hotel in Pittsburgh. I grew up in Pittsburgh. It's now the Wyndham Hotel. Beautiful hotel. But anyways, somehow I went into that hotel, and I went through a door in there, and I thought I was going into an office, but I wasn't going into an office. It actually took me downstairs to the garage in the Hilton Hotel. And there were 28 doors all around the place. So I was able to get out of one of the doors and finally escape after the 33 days. And someone came out from New York and picked me up, and everything was fine. but it was a pretty devastating thing. But anyways, a few days after that, I was shaving at 43rd Street Church, and this brother came to the sink beside me, and we started to talk. And I asked him where he was from, and he said, "Oh, I'm from Pittsburgh." I said, "Oh, I'm from Pittsburgh too." And then I said, "What part of Pittsburgh are you from?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm from Bellevue." And I said, "Oh, I'm from Bellevue too." And then I said, "Where did you live in Bellevue?" And he said, "Oh, I lived on Jackson Avenue in Bellevue." So anyway, this is the yellow arrow there. That's my home. I lived on Shade Avenue in Bellevue, and Jackson Avenue is right there. So it's about 15 doors from my house. And I suddenly discovered that one of the people that I had grown up with, actually a childhood friend, like from when I was 7 or 8 years old, around that age, he'd actually joined our church, and I hadn't known that, And anyway, this is a picture of me with him. His name is David Deal, and that's the school that we both went to. It's a Catholic school in Pittsburgh. And anyways, this is a picture of me with Tom and Rita Balcom and my wife and David Deal. So anyway, it was so liberating to find that there was somebody else who had joined from my neighborhood and become a church member. I had no idea, and this is us also with Ray and Miela Palkin. It was such a blessing to know that somehow, God was working, and I mean, how someone right down the street from you who I knew from childhood had become a church member. So that was really so hopeful for me. And it just came after that horrible experience to find out that somebody else had been guided to true parents, Secondly, I joined our church in France, and this is a picture of about the time I joined. That's me there. And some of you might know Professor Perrotet, and all of you know Dr. Kiley. Anyway, this is a photo from us from this is 1972, this photo. And I was a student at the Sorbonne in Paris at the time I met the church. And when I met the church, I joined the church, and I thought, well, I'll finish my studies and then I'll go on. But the church leader came to me and said that I was assigned to Lyon, France, as a missionary. And that meant, of course, that I had to leave my studies. So, of course, I left my studies, but I had this dream. And the dream was, don't worry, someday you'll get your degree from the University of Paris. Don't worry about it, So anyways, I went through, I joined the IOWC. I spent about 1.5 years in France. Then I came back to the United States. I was part of the first IOWC. Some of you probably know Mrs. Toshiko Sato. I think she's like 27 there, just a young woman. And then I went to the first global team in Japan, 1975. And I went to Korea after that. And these are two of my spiritual children from Japan, witnessed in Japan for almost a year. Anyways, had many wonderful experiences. And I went to UTS in 1979. And when I was at UTS, I started to think, well, after UTS, Father's not giving scholarships anymore for people to go on to do a doctorate, but maybe I could go back to France and I could finish that degree at the Sorbonne that I'd wanted to do. But instead, I was assigned by True Father to go to Latin America. And so I ended up going to Latin America and being part of the causa, our anti-communist movement. That's a picture of me. And then on the far left there, and behind me, that's Mr. Bill Lay, Professor Bill Lay. And then from 1980 to 2005, I had so many remarkable, 25 years, a quarter of a century, so many remarkable experiences with true parents for 25 years of my life, just amazing things over all that period of time. And I was so blessed because I was asked to go and I went, and just so many remarkable things happened during that period of time. And also got to know a number of the blessed children very closely, and particularly Hyojin. I've had many remarkable experiences with him over the years. Then in September of 1990, it should be 93, that's a mistake, True Mother gave a speech at the United Nations, and I was invited to go to the to speak to participate in preparing that visit of True Mothers. And anyway, that was an incredible. That's a testimony in of itself, but no time to talk about it. And after that, the day after Mother's speech, I was assigned to the University of Bridgeport, and I thought, what? I thought, how does that fit? Why am I suddenly going to the University of Bridgeport? I really was not the person that should go to the University of Bridgeport. I hadn't been properly prepared academically or anything else really to take on that kind of a role. But suddenly I was there, and I ended up spending the next 27 years of my life at the University of Bridgeport, and had all kinds of remarkable experiences. But while I was there, just suddenly this door opened that there was a way for me to get a degree from the University of Paris. And it was all completely by exams. I didn't have to write, I just had to take exams, you know. It took 6 years to do the exams, but I completed all the exams, and God kept his promise, and I got my degree from University of Paris. 2015. I joined in 71. I got my degree 44 years later. It was a miracle, absolutely a miracle, and not something I planned at all. But then I suddenly realized, oh, God gave me that dream after I joined the church, and lo and behold, 44 years later, it did come to pass. My last thing I'd like to talk about is 6. I know Pastor Naokimi likes numbers, and in many ways, somehow, if I think about my own life, somehow my life it's associated with the number 6. 6 isn't necessarily a bad number, it is a bad number, but it's also a good number, it has to be restored, But so anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about that number to conclude. I was born October 18th. My wife and I are members of the 1800 couples. In Father's speech of April 1st, 1972, you can read it. It's in the God's Will in the World. He talks about communism, and he explains how communism it represents 666, and many things happened to me around that number 6. True Father named my second son on June 6, 1986. And on June 6, 1989, True Father invited me to stand up at the Leaders Conference, and he recognized some of the work that I had done. It was really a very unique and very rare honor, but somehow that happened. And for 6 years, between 1990 and 1996, I was assigned a number of very special missions, which were all involved with reporting directly to true parents, including in 1990, I was sent to the Soviet Union, and I was responsible for developing the Divine Principle text, adapting it from English to Russian, and editing that particular text, and many things during that 6-year period. Then in 1992, I visited North Korea with the American Leadership Conference, and at the end of that stay, we spent a week there. At the end of the stay, Congressman Eichhorn just turned to me and said, "You can't go. You have to stay here in North Korea." And I was like, "What? This is North Korea. You're asking me to stay here by myself?" And anyways, I ended up staying there, and amazingly, the day I left North Korea was June 6, 1992. Now, I remind you that Father arrived in Pyongyang June 6, 1946. I served from 2000 to 2018 as the Dean of the College of Public and International Affairs at the University of Bridgeport. And I also served as the 6th president of UTS, where I served for 3 years. So that's 3 times 6. And finally, if that's not enough, there's my wife, okay? And my wife's name is Julia Alexandra Fish. There's 18 letters in that name. And my wife was born June 24th, 1953. June is 6, 24 is 4 times 6, and 1953 adds up to 18. So anyways, I just share these things because over a long period of time, I've understood that God's hand is in my life and worked in my life in order to allow me to meet true parents, allow me to meet my wife, allow me to have my children, and allow me to be able to be a part of God's providence. And each and every one of you have the same thing. I just encourage you to think and reflect, and every one of us are like that musician that Chris Bush described this morning. God has been preparing each of us in special ways for that moment of performance. And we have to be on target and ready for that moment when that moment comes. So anyways, I couldn't be more grateful than having met true parents. I have no idea what I would have been without them. And also, I've met all kinds of people in my life. I've met more than 40 heads of state, including 3 US presidents, but there's no one like true parents. There's no one like true parents. And all of us are so blessed to be a part of them and a part of this providence. Thank you very much. Thanks for allowing me to be able to share this morning, and praise God and true parents.
Jew, oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Dr. Ward, for fitting all that within, I'd like to say 6 minutes, but you went a little over than that. But Dr. Ward, no worries. Yeah, I think you're the reason why this number 6 is restored. That's really incredible. Thank you for making that offering and giving it up to our Heavenly Parent, true parents. But brothers and sisters, I think, again, the main point that Dr. Ward really wanted to share is that God was always with him, and that God is also with all of us as well. So thank you for sharing such a important point through your life testimony to all, and sharing it with all of us. And now to be able to close out this Cheon prayer vigil, in prayer, I'd like to invite up Assistant Pastor Tsushi Takino from New Jersey Family Church's Cheon.
Thank you, Dr. Ward. Good. Amazing. I love the story. So I want to hear more elder story. Thank you for preparing the pictures. Pictures actually connecting to my heart. I really love that. Thank you. As you know today, well, I already shared you, so I don't want to I don't want to spend time here the announcement. Please come to the Clifton Church. Okay, so I like to invite from Cheon, New Jersey, Shogo Nakada.
Morning, everyone. Please join me in prayer. Our dearest, our most beloved Heavenly Parent, our victorious true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Good morning. Firstly, just want to say thank you so much, Heavenly Parent, for the opportunity to be able to wake up, to be able to breathe, Heavenly Parent, to be able to appreciate the gradually colder and colder mornings. Heavenly Parent, to say that we love you so much. Heavenly Parent, that we want to really pray and ask what's on your heart today. As we greet you early this morning, we want to be able to really connect our day to your heart, Heavenly Parent, to be able to base what I do today, Heavenly Parent, on what your desire is. Heavenly Parent, are you worried about something? Heavenly Parent, is there something that you feel excited about? Is there something that you feel grateful for? Heavenly Parent, we want to tune into your frequency, Heavenly Parent, this morning. Heavenly Parent, really be able to understand Mother's words, Heavenly Parent, feel what she's resonating with, Heavenly Parent. And what we receive from Reverend Dunkley, his mother's concerns right now are the situation in Japan, Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent, the UCI case, and Heavenly Parent, the Chonmongung not being able to be established, Heavenly Parent. We want to pray, Heavenly Parent, especially today for the brothers and sisters in Japan, Heavenly Parent, who are going through so much difficulty, Heavenly Parent, because they laid a foundation all around the world, Heavenly Parent. That the sacrifices of Japanese missionaries in the early days of our movement, Heavenly Parent, who still continue to sacrifice now, Heavenly Parent, the financial contributions of the Japanese church continuously for the worldwide movement, Heavenly Parent. These things have all culminated, Heavenly Parent, to the situation now where, Heavenly Parent, we're receiving persecution from the Japanese government, but we want to pray together, Heavenly Parent, for our Japanese members. Heavenly Parent, pray that True Parents' presence can really be felt in Japan and felt that they have contributed something incredibly precious to the Japanese history as well, Heavenly Parent. Heavenly Parent, that thanks to them, Heavenly Parent, Japanese culture and Japanese history have been spread all around the world, and Heavenly Parent, it's deeply connected to true parents. When we think about our family members all around the world, Heavenly Parent, so many of them are Japanese, and that's something that Japan can be proud of. Heavenly Parent, the UCI case now, Heavenly Parent, that it's such a painful time for Heavenly Parent, true parents, where their own children, Heavenly Parent, have been opposing them, and Heavenly Parent standing against them, taking away, Heavenly Parent, the blood, sweat, and tears that our members have invested into the businesses, Heavenly Parent. And so we want to really pray, Heavenly Parent, for everyone involved, Heavenly Parent, really to be able to pray for your forgiveness here. Heavenly Parent, pray that we can be able to really bring people back home into your embrace. Heavenly Parent, so as we really go forward today, Heavenly Parent, we're going into winter time, Heavenly Parent. We want to really have hope, Heavenly Parent, going into a time where, Heavenly Parent, maybe it's difficult, maybe it's cold, but Heavenly Parent, we want to have your love warm inside of our hearts. We want to spend that time together with our families. So, Heavenly Parent, I ask that we can spend today with you in gratitude and in love. So, Heavenly Parent, thank you so much. Just want to really pray and offer this up. Heavenly Parent, my name, Shogun Akaza, and all our names gathered here. Bachu.
Thank you, Shogo. And now, brothers and sisters, I'd like to invite everyone to unmute yourselves and let us join in unison prayer all together.
Pioneer members. There's no foundation of the unification church. Money. Still they believe they are the Messiah. And they believe wisely with the people. And the king came the world. That's why all of us dedicate our life.
Shown us over and over again that you are our God. You are our
My family that is connected in Somalia.
Florida should be my boss. Always show up.
In modern countries of the world, love each other. You can show to the world.
ningún motivo desconocido,
You're on your
algún
way.
ancestro,
You're on your way.
ancestros que
You
hicieron
know,
cosas
yes, great.
buenas,
You're on your way.
nosotros podemos
We
estar
like
aquí.
unpreachable. We choose our mother. We choose
Testimonio
our mother in our thoughts, in our minds, in our
vida increíble,
we choose our mother. Every parent, we
de
live the
talentos,
whole
que dones.
to just overlook and
Yo
touch our mother
contribuir a
and
la
miss our mother and
contribuir a nuestros padres verdaderos.
oh,
Alegría,
mother has
orgullo
stayed
de haber sentido a nuestros padres
stand there
los
holding us
años,
together.
solamente bebé y luego unidos,
Love our mother
ser
for
deseado tener personas
our mother.
con esa habilidad, con esa
Aju, Aju, Aju. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for really offering your heart and Cheon through your prayers. And yeah, with that, I wish you a wonderful, happy, beautiful Saturday and a wonderful weekend. And we will see each other tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yasu.
God bless you, Yasu. And thank you, Dr. Ward.
Thank you, Dr. Ward. Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you, and
Hi, thank you.
Hi,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. Happy Saturday.
Happy
Thank you, Dr. Ward.
Saturday.
Wonderful
Thank you, Dr. Ward, Dr. Boyd.